Welcome back to the shop, everyone. I hope you're doing well. In front of you, what we have here is some 3/4 inch red oak veneered plywood. We are actually going to stain all of this completely black. We're going to use India ink, which has a shellac base to it. So this is all going black. This is actually going to turn out to be a filing cabinet for a client. They have specified the size that they want it in, so we're doing it 34 inches total high. It's going to be 36 inches across. We're going to have these pieces are going to be the base and top, and the ones behind that you can see here are going to be the sides. Just wanted to make one note here as I was going through this. So I pre-cut all of this the other day. I broke it all down using a track saw, and then I bring it into the shop. Again, I have a small shop. Bring it into a shop now that it's manageable pieces, and I'll do the final cut on the table. Always really important. You won't be able to see it on camera, but I've written on the sides of all my pieces that I've cut what the sizes of those are. The reason for that is so when I set all this down, I know when I pick it up what pieces I'm cutting. It's always really good to put identifying marks on pieces that you're cutting. So let's move over to the table saw and start cutting these down to size. So just finishing up the edge banding here, there's one thing I wanted to point out, and that is, so these edges are edge banded here and here. You can see right in this little corner, you can see the edge of the tape, edge banding tape. So this side here is my long side. So this is facing out towards the room. And this is the side. So when I put my edge banding on, I always put my sides on first when this edge is going to be displayed out. So I put my side on first, and then I put my banding over top so that when you're looking at this head on, which is this direction, when you're looking at it head on, you don't see these edges. Again, tiny little thing, but it's a little nicety. Otherwise, if you were facing this head on again, if you're facing it in this direction, this edge would show on this side. So if you magnified that on a full-size piece, like an inch thickness piece, you'd see all that end grain. It's the same thing, only on a tiny level. So little trick, but well worth doing. All right, so the edge banding is all on. I've dadoed in my sides here for my back. That's going to be a piece of MDF. This is just a quick shot of what I'm going to do next. So I actually use my little corner clamps. Usually I use those for assembly, but because these are bigger panels, it's hard to drill pocket holes in, which is what my fasteners are going to be for putting this together. It's hard to drill pocket holes in when you're trying to hold on to this size of a sheet. So what I did is I just clamp those on there, and then I can just move my jig down as I drill. So won't show you as I'm drilling because that's boring and no one wants to see that. So then once we get all that together, I'll probably do a quick shot of the assembly going together. So I'm going to screw everything together and then drop the back in. Have to cut the back next, drop the back in, and then we'll move on to figuring out the drawers. A chunk of 1/2 inch multi-core ply. I'm going to run that through the saw at 10 1/4 inches. That'll be my drawer fronts for the actual drawer construction. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the drawer sides, which would be 22 5/8. Then we will take all of those pieces, after we've marked them out carefully, over to the blind dovetail jig that we used on the drill build there a couple weeks ago. And we will run that through and make us some drawer boxes, figure out where our drawer bottom is going to go, and do some drawer constructions. So I'm just going to run the table saw, run those things through there. I'm not going to film it all, just do the one stretch, and I'll leave the rest of that to your imagination, and we'll go from there. So in front of you here is the drawer outlay. What I've done is just go through and mark everything. So this is my drawer side, my drawer front or back, depending on how it goes in. And as you can see, what I've done is I've labeled inside tails A, and then inside pin and A. This is just my own scribble on there for where my groove is going to go. And the same over here, inside tail, inside pin, and then B. And then I've done the same on all four corners. So when I'm putting this into the dovetail jig, I know exactly which pieces go to where, because these, when you run them through, you're essentially cutting your dovetails this way. So you're cutting the tails on this side, the pins on this one at the same time. So you want to make sure that when you're putting them in there that you're lining everything up, and that the inside of the drawer is facing out or up, depending on which side of the jig you're on. So yeah, just a quick little clip on making sure that when you're doing these drawers that you're setting up to do your layout properly, so no mistakes are made. So here is the dovetail jig. We got the tail board in and the pin board in. I just wanted to show you what it looks like with my chicken scratch on there. So as I zoom in here, you'll see on the right-hand side, you'll see my chicken scratch there. So I've got that lined up with the one above it. You can't see the other marking that I put on there because it's underneath the template that's sitting on top there. But that's what I use to line everything up to make sure as I go through that I'm getting the same corners aligned, that my bottoms are where I want them to be, and then I will go through. So I did one drawer last night. Turned out pretty good. Had a little bit of tear out on a couple of places, which I'll show you in a later clip. I may remake the drawer. Depends on how it looks once I get everything together. Right before glue up, I'll decide on how much material I have left. But yeah, so now I'm just going to go through, route these out, and do all four corners, and then do a dry fit. Okay, drawers are unclamped. Glue up went pretty well, no major issues. Last night I sanded the tops and I got a couple of voids in there that I had to fill. So a quick sand this morning and those are good to go. I'm gonna install the slides and everything next. But as I was doing that, I noticed that on the back side of each of the drawers, so this will be the side that goes into the cabinet, you can see a 6mm by 6mm hole, so close to quarter inch square. I think the drawer slide's going to cover that. However, I might move the slide around depending on where I'm going to put the cabinets in, or sorry, the drawers inside the cabinet. English is hard this morning. So in case it isn't, because they are full extension slides, so that means that the whole drawer technically can come almost right out of the cabinet, and you could possibly see this. What I did is I cut a little tiny piece of plywood and I matched the coloring of the plywood with, like, basically cut off the amount that so that it would match there. So all I'm going to do is put that in there, give that a little tap. So that's done. Pretty much. All I'm going to do now is wipe the glue off, like so, and then I'm going to flush cut that with the little flush trim saw, which I have right here, and that's it. That will be next to invisible. I'll let that glue dry, and then I'll go over that with a chisel and just pare off the little bit of extra surface there. And I kid you not, you will never know that that happened, other than if you watch the video, obviously. Okay, so what we got going on now is I have my last drawer face that's going to go on, like so. The problem that I have is with most of my other builds that I've done, there's usually handles going on here. So what I would do in that case is I would put this on, shim it out, get everything nice and square, and I would drive 2 screws through the face into the box there, and then I can just pull the drawer out with the screws, clamp or go on the inside there, drill my holes in and screw the face on. So easy. In this case, because the handles are not going through, they're actually going to sit on top here with a little catch in the back. I can't do that trick. So what I'm going to try and do, and I tried this earlier and it didn't work. So what I've done here is I put blue tape on the back to give myself a little bit more thickness. I've got this double-sided sticky tape that you can see I'm peeling the things off of here. The problem is I don't think it's thick enough because it's so thin, so I've doubled it up all the way along to stick to this. So we're going to try it again and see what happens, and if not, I'm going to have to go and buy some like carpet tape, double-sided carpet tape, and put that on. So what we're going to do here is carefully put that on. Slide that in, making sure everything is aligned, like so. Like so. Everything looks good. And then I'm going to press it in. Looks good. I'll press that in as hard as I can. Like so. This is on a roller, so it wants to slide. Now, if I hold that there, pull my shims out, oh, I might have something now. Yay! Look at that. It actually worked. So now we're going to put clamps on. Like so. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to screw these in like so. And maybe what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around so you can actually see what I'm doing rather than just looking at my backside on film. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip this around so I can show you what I'm doing from the inside. I can put the camera on top there, and we'll look at it from that angle, and we'll go from there. And for my next trick, we're going to take all that red oak and turn it super black. As you can see in front of you, the India ink went well. I've got 2 top coats of clear coat on there. I've zoomed in there just so you can see it because it is so very, very dark. When I zoom out, it's hard to see any of the details. So I'm gonna pull out here. There is the unit as it sits finished. This is a filing cabinet. Like I said, I'll move closer there and open the bottom drawer. So the bottom 2 drawers are both for files. The upper drawer is just, you know, pencil drawer, I think they call it. I made it a little bit bigger so you can actually store larger items in there from the household. Super happy with the way everything turned out. Let's pull in a little bit closer there and have a look at one of the drawers. So there's the drawer open, legal size file folders which fit exactly the same on either side. Same configuration in this drawer. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the build. If you have any questions, anything that you want me to go over, that'd be great. And if you've watched the video this far, please subscribe to the channel. I plan on continuing to put content out as often, as frequently as I can. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.